Hi folks, and welcome to the tail end of February. Yeah, it's February 26, 2021, and this is Cord Cutting Weekly, where we take a look at the past week in cord cutting and streaming news. And this week we have a whole lot to talk about. We've got new parental controls incoming for popular apps, rumors of AT&T selling a stake in its pay TV business, and a whole lot of new info on Paramount Plus. But first, yes, if you haven't done so by now, please do consider clicking those like and subscribe buttons down below. You'd be helping out our channel considerably, and you'd also be joining a great group at the same time. And with all that being said, let's talk about this past week, starting with a lot of new info on Paramount Plus. But first, here's some breaking news. So while we were recording this week's episode, we learned of an update to a story we were working on. So earlier this week, we reported on rumors that AT&T was close to a deal with a private equity firm for a minority stake in the company's pay TV services. And just as we were recording this week's episode, we got word of an official announcement confirming the deal. So AT&T and the group known as TPG will enter into a new venture they're calling New DIRECTV. And it will reportedly encompass AT&T's video businesses, including DIRECTV, AT&T TV Now, and Uverse. The deal gives AT&T 70% equity in the business, with the remaining 30% left to TPG, and we're told the new company is valued at around $16.25 billion. As for existing customers, AT&T issued a press release on Thursday that states, once the transaction is completed, existing AT&T video subscribers will become new DIRECTV customers and will be able to keep their video service and any bundled wireless or broadband services, as well as HBO Max, plus any associated discounts. The transaction is expected to close sometime in the second half of the year, and of course we'll keep a very close eye on this development and report back as we learn more about the new venture. For now though, let's get back to that Paramount Plus news. Okay, let's get right into it. Viacom-CBS shared a lot of info on its upcoming launch of Paramount Plus, which is scheduled to go live next week on March 4th. And one of, if not the biggest question many of us had was, how much is this all going to cost? Well, the company finally shared some info on that this week, and it turns out subscriptions to Paramount Plus will start at $4.99 per month with ads or $9.99 without ads. However, here's where we get into some fine details. So yes, that $4.99 price point is cheaper than the current CBS All Access pricing. However, that $4.99 plan won't go live until June. The ad-supported tier will stick with the $5.99 price point until then. And when it does go into effect, you'll have access to live sports, CBSN and CBS News on demand, and more. The $9.99 premium plan will get you more CBS Sports, your live CBS station, and access to more options. There's also a sign-up deal going on right now if you opt for an annual plan, and you can check out the details in our post link down below in the video description. And stay tuned, because next week we're going to take a deeper look at what Paramount Plus has to offer. So yes, we now know how much Paramount Plus will cost, or in some cases how much it will eventually cost, but what can you actually watch when the service goes live? Well, we have a lengthy post that details a whole bunch of the streaming services plans for original content. And you can see the full listing via the post link down below in the video description, but it's clear that Viacom-CBS has got some interesting plans when it comes to original content. In all, the company promises around 50 or so exclusive originals spanning a variety of genres like drama, kids and family, reality, sports, and more. And that includes a spin-off of the popular series Yellowstone, a show based on the Xbox game franchise Halo, more content in the universe of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, and more. Oh, and there's also the return of 90s era hits like Frasier and Beavis and Butthead. On top of all that, yes, several CBS All Access originals are continuing on with Paramount Plus branding, including Star Trek shows like Discovery, Picard, and Lower Decks. Again, you can see the full list in our post link down below, and if any catch your eye, let us know in the comment section down below. And as far as what to expect at launch and during its initial year, we have another post answering some of the key questions you might have about Paramount Plus, and yes, that too is linked down below in the video description. Among the details we've learned this week, Viacom-CBS expects to offer more than 30,000 television episodes and 2,500 movies at launch, with a promise of more joining the lineup in the future. And as for that original content, the company expects around 36 new original series to debut within the service's first year. And again, you can find out more at the post link down below. Okay, just one more bit of Viacom-CBS news before we move on, and this one has to do with Pluto TV. With its fourth quarter earnings out this week, Viacom-CBS spent some time discussing its free streaming service, pointing out that Pluto TV has grown to 43 million monthly active users around the world. The company says that represents an 80% increase year over year. Here in the US, the service saw 30.1 million monthly active users, or around a 34% increase year over year. And from a financial standpoint, Viacom-CBS says its advertising revenue more than doubled in Q4. Also this week, IMDb TV announced that its app is now available on the Chromecast with Google TV. The Amazon-owned service was recently voted as one of your favorite free streaming services, and you can check out that video linked down below in the video description. The new Chromecast app follows similar launches on Roku devices, Xbox consoles, and more, and we're expecting further Android TV devices to get access to the app in the near future, so stay tuned for updates on that. In the meantime, you can find out more about the Chromecast app in our full post linked down below in the video description. We've also got some parental controls to talk about. First up, this week YouTube announced some new options for parents of tweens and teens. The idea here is to give those age groups more freedom than a YouTube Kids account, but still giving parents more fine-tuned access to control content. Beta testing of the new options is set to begin in the near future, but you can see the content settings parents can select from on your screen here. We'll keep an eye out for how the testing goes and update on if or when the parental controls will be officially added to the app. In Disney Plus news, the streaming service officially launched its Star brand in several markets outside of the US. Now, roughly speaking, Star acts sort of like Hulu in those regions in that it offers a variety of shows and movies from several studios like Disney Television Studios, FX, and more. And alongside that launch, it also added some additional parental controls so parents in those regions can fine-tune content access by age group. In other Disney Plus news, we've now learned of key premiere dates for several of the streaming service's upcoming releases, including new Marvel shows like Loki and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's also a release date mentioned for the new Star Wars series, Star Wars: The Bad Batch. In all, this latest group of releases spans early March into July, so you can plan your spring and early summer accordingly. And to help, here's a listing of the titles mentioned so far. In addition to brand new shows, you'll also see continuations of existing options like High School Musical and Zenimation. And if you're looking forward to any of those titles in particular, feel free to let your fellow cord cutters and streamers know in the comments section down below. Next up, FuboTV has launched a new premium bundle that packages together a trio of premium channels for a reduced price. The add-on includes Showtime, STARZ, and Epix for a combined price of $19.99 per month. Now, if you ordered each separately, you'd be looking at a charge of roughly $26 per month, so this new option ends up saving you around $6 monthly if you want all three. The new bundle follows YouTube TV's recently announced premium deal that included HBO Max, Showtime, and STARZ for a reduced price of $29.99 per month. And you can find out more in our post, linked down below in the video description. And that wraps up a busy week and basically brings us to the end of the month. Yep, we're heading straight into March 2021, folks. But before we flip the calendar page, just wanted to say thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, if you haven't done so already, please do consider clicking those like and subscribe buttons down below. You'd definitely be helping us out a ton, and we appreciate the support. On Wednesdays, Jess hosts a live Q&A session, and then on Thursdays, we dive deep into specific topics, including next week's focus on, yes, Paramount Plus. And then, of course, there's Cord Cutting Weekly every Friday, where we wrap up the past week in cord cutting and streaming news. For now, thanks again for checking us out. My name is Philip Palermo. We'll see you all in March. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Take care.